بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مساء الخير ورمضان مبارك للجميع. Your Excellency, I welcome you to Jordan as a true friend of the kingdom. And I just want to start by reiterating how valuable the friendship and the partnership between the kingdom and the Vatican is. We stand for peace, we stand for justice, we stand for our collective humanity. And this year marks 30 years of diplomatic ties, and they've been 30 years marked by dialogue, by cooperation, by joint work to promote the values of peace and justice and respect for the other. So again, welcome to Jordan, sir, and I thank you for the very deep and thorough discussion that we had, not just about how do we advance our relationship and how do we continue to work for our goal of bringing about peace and stability to our region, but also in terms of ensuring that we have more contacts, more cooperation, and more interaction in the years and the months to come. Your Excellency, your visit coincides with the beginning of the holy month of Ramadan, a month of worship, a month of peace, a month of sanctity. Unfortunately, this is not the reality for over 2.3 million people in Gaza who not only continue to suffer the brutality of the Israeli aggression, but are also marking the month with starvation, as children dying from lack of food, over almost 2 million people pushed away from their homes into shelters that cannot provide the basic essentials, basic necessities of life. This aggression has had a tremendous toll that crossed all lines on the people of Gaza. And again, the fact that this holy month falls on a Gaza that is bombed by Israel, starved by Israel, where mothers cannot feed their children, where fathers have to bury their kids, where families have to look for members of their families under the rubble is a reality that must change and must change now. And unfortunately, 5 months into this conflict, the world has failed to uphold international law, to uphold humanitarian international law, to uphold the dignity of life, and to make sure that Israel does not continue with an aggression that, again, crossed all moral, legal, and humanitarian laws. We also have an extremely explosive situation on the West Bank, where Israeli unilateral measures continue to create facts on the ground that are not conducive to peace, that undermine the prospects of the two-state solution, which you and us agree is the path to the just and lasting peace that we want. We also see violations of the sanctity of the holy places, Muslim and Christian, and continued restrictions on the right of worship. We cannot emphasize enough the urgency of Israel lifting those restrictions, respecting the right of freedom of worship, and allowing worshippers to perform their religious duty in this holy month of Ramadan. Playing with the holy sites is playing with fire. We therefore urge your good office and the good offices of the rest of the world to do everything that is possible to make sure that Israel respects the historical and legal status quo at the holy sites, respects freedom of worship, lift all restrictions that deny people to perform their religious duties in those holy days. And of course, in Jordan, as you know, with His Majesty being the custodian of Muslim and Christian holy sites, we have a special responsibility towards our brethren there, Muslims and Christians. The kingdom has not relented in its effort to ensure that Christian and Muslim holy sites are respected, that the sanctity of holy sites is not encroached upon. So extremely challenging and difficult and tragic times. Your voice has been a voice of reason, a voice of justice, and that's something that we tremendously value, and we're going to continue to work together along with our partners in the region and the rest of the world to push Israel to respect the sanctity of life in Gaza, to end an aggression that has done nothing but brought death, destruction, suffering, and starvation. We want peace in the region. We want peace for Palestinians and Israelis and the whole region. And the only path to that peace is the fulfillment of the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people in their sovereign independent state on June 4, 1967, lines with East Jerusalem as their capital, and also with so that this state can live in peace and security with Israel. So challenging times, difficult times, but we count on you, my friend, and we count on all in the world who want peace and stability to step up their efforts and to say what needs to be said, which is that this aggression has gone too far. It has to stop. It has to end. There's no way that the international community should accept that babies die from starvation in this day and age. Again, I welcome you to Jordan, and I give you the floor.
Thank you very much, Minister Safadi, for your kind words and your welcome that I've received here in Amman since arriving yesterday and here today in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I'd like to begin by wishing everybody every blessing for the holy month of Ramadan, Ramadan Mubarak. We have come to celebrate, together with our Jordanian friends and colleagues, 30 years of diplomatic relations between the Holy See and the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. 30 years, as the Minister has already said, of very close cooperation, great respect, particularly close relations between successive monarchs of this kingdom and the popes in Rome. There have been many visits, both by popes, John Paul II, Paul VI, Francis, Benedict, and the kings have visited Rome and the Vatican over the years. So it's a very close and important relationship which requires and deserves to be promoted. And the Holy See has taken the decision last year to be represented personally here in Amman by an apostolic nuncio in the person of Archbishop Gian Pietro Dal Toso, and we're very happy that he has taken up his mission here and is working very close with the Jordanian authorities. As the minister has also mentioned, this country is particularly significant to the Holy See for many reasons. First of all, because it is a country where religious freedom is respected and promoted, where there is interreligious dialogue, particularly between Muslims and Christians. And so this is also a place which we look to and which we wish to always extend our support, and also in which, obviously, the contribution of the Catholic Church here in its various rites and presences is very important, and we are delighted that the Catholic Church here in Jordan is a very active and appreciated partner, both in terms of religious affairs, cultural affairs, and humanitarian affairs, making a very great contribution to the life of the country. The Holy See is also most respectful to Jordan for its heroic efforts on behalf of refugees over the many decades, and even now in this time of particular conflict, particularly assisting the Palestinian community. Allow me to just say a few words about what in many ways we are most concerned with at this time. This is, as the minister was saying to me, this is a region in which there are many challenges and difficulties and things, and obviously in thinking about that, we are thinking most particularly about Gaza at this time. The Holy See, for its part, noted with horror the events of the 7th of October and the terrible, atrocious acts which were committed on that day against Israelis, but also the many, many tens of thousands of Palestinians, particularly women and children, particularly civilians, who have died subsequently over these last 5 months. It is the conviction of the Holy See and of Pope Francis that this indeed must come to an end. For that reason, the Holy See continues to promote a ceasefire, continues to believe that humanitarian aid must be facilitated, and that every effort must be brought to end this terrible conflict. For that reason, we're also very supportive of the United Nations efforts, particularly of UNRWA at this time, which we see as making a crucial contribution to meeting the humanitarian problems of this way. We've also been concerned over the years for the situation in Syria, and we know that His Majesty the King has particularly promoted new approaches to Syria, seeking new political efforts and to the reduction, if not elimination, of sanctions on that country. So I think on many of these issues, as you can see, there is much that we can do together as Kingdom of Jordan and as the Holy See and as the Catholic Church. And I think that that is what we are committed to, making efforts in all the very difficult situations in the world today, but particularly here in your region, particularly with regard to Gaza. I thank you very much for your attention.
Your Excellency, I'm Raed Awad from Al Jazeera. Now we are in Ramadan month. So, is there any maybe the Vatican can make more pressure on France, Germany, and other European countries to adopt maybe a ceasefire resolution immediately because of Ramadan month? Thank you.
Well, obviously, I think the Holy See, like many actors within the international community, would have liked to have seen significant progress on a ceasefire before the beginning of Ramadan, and many people were pushing for that. We will continue to engage with our friends in the international community in that sense, and that is our position. And you listen to what Pope Francis says very regularly in his public appearances. He's always appealing for, and we hope that people in the international community, particularly those most influential in this region, are listening. Thank you.
يعطيكم العافية. كيف يمكن للفاتيكان الإسهام في حماية الكنائس في قطاع غزة الذي يضم واحد من أقدم الكنائس وحماية المدنيين؟ شكرا.
Thank you for your question. It's well known that the Holy Father, Pope Francis, is in almost daily contact with the Catholic Church in Gaza. He's well informed of the situation. We have consistently pointed out to many of those involved in the conflict in Gaza. We have appealed to them to spare the buildings and the churches as would be appropriate under international law. And to some extent that has been listened to. With regard to civilians, well, our position is very clear. We do not believe that civilians should be considered just collateral damage in a conflict between Israel and Hamas. So our position would be appealing that there should be no targeting of civilians, no targeting of institutions which are usually given protection under international law at all. our message, I think, is very clear. Again, we hope somebody's listening. Thank you.
شكرا. مرحبا معاليك، كيف صحة؟ شكرا. يعني هل هناك أي نوع من التنسيق الأردني مع الجانب الأمريكي حول المنصة البحرية التي تنوي الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية إنشائها على ساحل قطاع غزة، وماذا بشأن وهل هذه المنصة والإنزالات هي كافية أم أن على إسرائيل أن تفتح المجال أكثر لإدخال المساعدات؟ شكرا جزيلا.
بالتأكيد على إسرائيل أن تفتح الأبواب واسعة كاملة أمام إدخال المساعدات الإنسانية. ثمة مجاعة في غزة الآن، أرقام الأمم المتحدة تتحدث عن الآلاف من الذين لا يجدون قوت يومهم، من أطفال يموتون بسبب عدم توفر الغذاء، عدم توفر الحليب. فبالتالي هذه الكارثة الإنسانية لا يمكن أن تنتهي إلا بإنهاء العدوان، بإدخال مساعدات كافية إلى جميع أنحاء قطاع غزة، وبالسماح بتوزيع هذه المساعدات في جميع أنحاء قطاع غزة. ما يدخل من المساعدات حتى الآن لا يلبي 4% من احتياجات غزة، ولا يسمح لهذه المساعدات بأن تصل إلى مئات الآلاف في شمال غزة. تقارير الأمم المتحدة تحدثت عن حوالي 15% من الأطفال في شمال غزة الآن يعانون أعلى درجات الجوع والمعاناة. فبالتالي ليس كافيا. الإنزالات التي وجه جلالة الملك عبد الله الثاني حفظه الله بالقيام بها وأشرف عليها شخصيا هي جهد أردني لمحاولة العمل على تأمين الحد الأدنى، لكن كما قلنا سابقا هذه لا تلبي ولو جزءا بسيطا، لكن هذا هو الجهد الذي استطعنا القيام به، إضافة إلى إرسال مساعدات عبر جسر الملك حسين بالتعاون مع صندوق الغذاء الأممي ودول أخرى. فبالتالي الجواب المباشر على سؤالك لا، ما يدخل لا يكفي. وبالنسبة لي الممر البحري لإدخال المساعدات، موقفنا أن أي جهد يسهم في وقف المجاعة، في توفير الغذاء والماء والدواء لأهل غزة هو جهد ضروري، لكن بالنهاية هي كلها جهود استثنائية في مواجهة ظرف مستحيل جعلته إسرائيل مستحيلا بإصرارها على استخدام الغذاء كسلاح وبتجويعها للفلسطينيين. وكما قلنا سابقا الفلسطينيون يقتلون بالرصاص الإسرائيلي ويموتون أيضا نتيجة حرمان إسرائيل أهل غزة من حقهم في الماء والدواء والغذاء. فكلنا نعمل من أجل إنهاء هذه الكارثة في الحد الأدنى، إدخال المساعدات الإنسانية. ثمة قرار لمجلس الأمن بالسماح بإدخال المساعدات الإنسانية، إسرائيل رفضته. ثمة تدابير إجرائية أمرت بها محكمة العدل الدولية، إسرائيل لم تنفذها، وما زال العالم ينتظر، وما تزال الحكومة الإسرائيلية تتحدى المجتمع الدولي كله ومستمرة في عدوانها على غزة وفي تجويعها للفلسطينيين. وهذا موضوع كان أيضا موضوع المساعدات الإنسانية موضوع نقاش مع معالي الوزير، الذي كما قلت نثمن مواقف الفاتيكان إزاء ضرورة إنهاء الصراع، إنهاء العدوان بشكل فوري، وإدخال المساعدات بشكل فوري أيضا. والجهود مستمرة، لكن على أبواب شهر رمضان المبارك الغزيون يواجهون القتل ويواجهون الجوع، وفي نفس الوقت نرى تصعيدا في الضفة الغربية. وكما قلت نؤكد على ضرورة رفع كل القيود التي تفرضها إسرائيل على حرية العبادة في المسجد الأقصى الحرم القدسي الشريف في هذا الشهر الفضيل، ونحذر من أن العبث بالمسجد الأقصى هو عبث بالنار. والضفة الغربية تغلي نتيجة ليس فقط الحرب على غزة، ولكن الإجراءات اللاشرعية التي تستمر إسرائيل في القيام بها بالضفة، بناء المستوطنات، الاعتداءات على المدن، إرهاب المستوطنين، لكن عدم السماح للمصلين بأداء واجباتهم وشعائرهم الدينية في هذا الشهر الفضيل، وتقييد حرية الوصول إلى المسجد الأقصى، وكل هذا يدفع باتجاه تفجر الأوضاع، وهذا ما نحذر منه.
Could I just add to what I said earlier, that in the basic position of the Holy See on Gaza at the moment is that the Pope has consistently appealed also for an immediate release of all the hostages. That's also an important element which I forgot to include in my earlier remarks. Thank you.
And if I may to that, I say we all in the region support the talks that are undergoing to arrive at a deal. We believe that this deal should be concluded so that we can have also a period of calm. And unfortunately, though, we saw Israel walking out from the negotiations not too long ago. We urge a genuine engagement in those negotiations to make sure that this deal is concluded and that we have a period of calm, which must be a prelude to a permanent ceasefire as well.
معاليك يعطيك العافية. يعني أنت تحدثت أن المساعدات لا تكفي وخصوصا خلال شهر رمضان. هل سيكون هنالك تكثيف للإنزالات الجوية في شهر رمضان تحديدا؟ إضافة لهيك في ملاحظات كتير فيما يخص موضوع الإنزالات الجوية وصعوبات منها التكلفة ومنها غيرها بعض الملاحظات. هل سيكون هنالك تنسيق بين الأردن وجهات أممية لتوزيع هذه المساعدات بشكل عادل؟
كما قلت نحن نقوم بما نستطيعه. نتعامل مع ظرف غير إنساني، ظرف غير طبيعي. الإنزالات كانت مبادرة من جلالة الملك للقيام بما نستطيعه، وكل لقمة خبز تفرق في غزة، كل علبة حليب تعني إنقاذ حياة طفل، كل حبة دواء تعني تخفيف ألم امرأة أو طفل أو رجل يعاني. فبالتالي اتخذنا هذه الخطوة كخيار متاح، لكن كما قلنا دائما نعتقد أنها غير كافية، لكن هذا ما نستطيعه. مستمرون في القيام بكل ما نستطيعه. سنكثف الإنزالات ما استطعنا، نتعاون مع دول كثيرة وتعليمين الدول التي انضمت إلى الجهد الأردني من أجل إنزال هذه المساعدات. فبالنسبة لنا في الأردن توجيهات جلالة الملك، جهود جلالة الملك واضحة. مستعدون لأن نرسل كل يوم وكل لحظة كل ما نستطيعه من أجل مساعدة أهلنا في غزة، لكن ثمة تحديات تفرضها إسرائيل، وإسرائيل تتحدى العالم كله وتقف بوجه الشرعية الدولية وترفض قرارات مجلس الأمن وترفض حتى قرارات حلفاء لها في العالم بما فيهم الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. فبالتالي الأردن يقوم بما يستطيعه منذ بدء هذه الأزمة، وجلالة الملك يقود جهودا غير منقطعة لإنهاء العدوان، لإدخال المساعدات، لتأمين وصول المساعدات إلى كل أنحاء غزة. ولاحظت أن الإنزالات الأخيرة في المملكة عندما استطعنا كانت موجهة إلى شمال غزة حيث الحاجة الأكبر والأصعب، ومستمرون في ذلك. ونرحب بأي دولة تريد أن تنضم إلى هذا الجهد من أجل تلبية أو الإسهام في تلبية احتياجات الناس، ونثمن جهود الدول التي انضمت إلينا في هذا الجهد. لكن كما أجبت قبل قليل، لا، ليس كافيا، نحتاج المزيد. لكن المسؤول عن تجويع الفلسطينيين في غزة وحرمانهم مائهم ودوائهم وغذائهم هو إسرائيل، وهو أيضا الصمت الدولي الذي يسمح لإسرائيل بأن تستمر في هذه الإجراءات التي تخالف كل القوانين الدولية وتتعدى كل الشرائع الدولية وتجاوزت كل الخطوط الحمراء الإنسانية والإخلاقية والقانونية أيضا. شكرا لكم. Thank you so much.